Cats are one of the strangest animals that ever walked into our homes. They are fast enough to catch a bird before it can fly away, silent enough to cross a room without making a sound, patient enough to stare at a hole in the wall for hours, and confident enough to watch you clean their litter box like this was always your purpose in life. A dog looks at you like a leader. A cat looks at you like a roommate who pays no rent. And the weirdest part is, the cat may not be completely wrong, because for most of history, cats did not need us. They did not need humans to teach them how to hunt. They did not need us to protect them from the dark, because the dark was where they were strongest. A wild cat could climb, hide, stalk, fight, survive, and disappear before you even realized it was there. So why would a perfect little predator ever choose to live beside humans? The answer is much stranger than humans domesticated cats, because humans may not have truly domesticated cats. In many ways, cats domesticated themselves. To understand this, we have to go back thousands of years to the moment humans started farming. Before agriculture, humans moved constantly. We hunted, gathered, followed seasons, followed animals, and followed food. That kind of life was not very useful to cats. Cats were not built to follow noisy groups of humans across forests and plains for months at a time. But when humans began to settle down, everything changed. For the first time, we created grain stores. Dark, dry, protected places filled with food. And when you create a room full of grain, you do not just attract humans, you attract mice. A lot of mice. Mice ate the grain, ruined food supplies, spread disease, reproduced quickly, and turned human settlements into rodent paradise. For early humans, mice were a disaster. For wild cats, mice were a free buffet, and so cats did not come to us because they loved us. They came because humans accidentally built restaurants for rodents. The first wild cats probably stayed near villages, watching from the edges. They did not walk into houses because they wanted cuddles. They came near the grain stores, hunted in the shadows, ate well, and left. And humans probably noticed. A small, silent animal with glowing eyes was solving one of their biggest problems. This was the beginning of one of the strangest partnerships in history. Humans did not need to capture cats, train cats, or command cats the way they did with dogs. The wildest cats stayed away. But the cats calm enough to tolerate humans could live closer to the grain stores. Cats that lived closer to grain stores found more mice. Cats that found more mice survived better. Cats that survived better had more kittens. In other words, the human environment selected for cats that were slightly less afraid of us, not because they were obedient, but because they could tolerate humans long enough to benefit from our mice. Nobody had to teach cats how to hunt. Nobody had to tell them to patrol the grain stores. They did it because hunting was already written into their bodies. So cats entered human history with an invisible contract. You have mice, I have claws. You leave me alone, I help protect your food. Honestly, not a bad deal. But then something even stranger happened. Cats did not just stay near the grain stores, they started moving closer. They slept near fires, they gave birth in corners of buildings, they got used to human voices, human smells, human footsteps, and human homes. And humans got used to them. A creature that once moved like a ghost through the fields slowly became a soft shadow walking across the floor. But cats never fully gave up what they were. One moment, a cat can curl up on your lap, purr, close its eyes, and look like the sweetest creature ever created. A few minutes later, it can slap something off a table, attack a paper bag, sprint through the house for no reason, or stare into an empty corner at 2 a.m. like it can see something you cannot. That is not because cats are broken. It is because inside every house cat is still a hunter. A tiny sound under the couch, possible prey. A moving shape under a blanket, possible prey. A shoelace, definitely prey. Your hand when you try to rub its belly, for the first 3 seconds, affection. After that, also prey. Cats were not designed to be stuffed animals. They were designed to notice movement, calculate distance, explode into action, grab with their claws, and end the hunt quickly. When a cat plays, it is practicing hunting. When it hides behind a chair and jumps at your feet, it is not just being silly. It is running a hunting simulation in your living room. This also explains why cats seem so independent. When you call a cat's name and it does not come, it probably heard you. It is just deciding whether your request is worth standing up for. But that does not mean cats do not care about humans. They simply show attachment differently. Dogs often love loudly. Cats love with distance. Timing and control. A cat may not run to you every time you call, but it might sleep near you, follow you from room to room, blink slowly at you, sit on your keyboard while you are working, or bring you a dead insect as a gift, which is horrifying but technically thoughtful. And maybe that is exactly why humans find cats so fascinating. Cats are close to us, but not completely ours. Part of them still belongs to rooftops. Fences, moonlight, tall grass, and tiny movements in the dark. They live in our houses, but inside their minds is still a secret map of the wild. Humans built cities, walls, apartments, elevators, lights, and the internet. But in the middle of all that modern life, cats kept something ancient. A small predator sleeping on your sofa still carries the instincts of thousands of years of hunting beneath the moon. And somehow, we love them for it. We like that cats are not completely obedient. We like that they can be gentle but unpredictable. We like that they are affectionate, but only when they choose to be. We like living with an animal that seems to remind us that nature was never fully conquered. That may be the true secret of cats. They became pets without fully surrendering themselves. They changed just enough to live beside us, but not enough to stop being cats. Not too much. Not too little. Just enough to walk through the door, sit on the keyboard, stare into our souls, and make humans believe that we are in charge. Maybe humans built the house, but cats figured out how to turn it into their kingdom, and thousands of years later, that silent contract is still alive. We give cats shelter, food, warmth, toys, and a clean litter box. In return, cats give us something much stranger, the feeling of being chosen by a tiny wild animal. Not owned, not commanded, not completely controlled. Just chosen. One day, a cat stepped into the human world, sat down, started purring, and decided that this place was acceptable. And somehow, that became one of the most successful relationships in history, because cats did not need humans in the beginning. But they found a way to live with us, and eventually we found that life felt strangely empty without them.